A hand for Joan,
Yes!
who this whole night's for, who asked me to make a fool of myself right now, which I'm about to do great. You know, it's funny, the meat of this sandwich, of this musical sandwich, is mainly indie. Hawk and Dove and Instrument Thieves, in my mind, is indie. And she pulls it off fantastic. I don't think I'd even be allowed in an indie band because, it's kind of like art gallery rock, but also, you know, you gotta like hate yourself with like an arrogant confidence that I just don't have. Yeah. So, but I do really enjoy the genre though, like a lot. And my best story with it is a few years back when Bon Iver came out with all this stuff. And, you know, every indie lover will be like, you're a fake, but I'm like, what, fine, sure, I am. And, but he came out with it, and I was listening to his first one, which is even quieter than his second one. And it's For Emma, it's Tomorrow Ago, or whatever the fuck, you know. So I don't know if you've made this ride from New York to Boston before, but it's gorgeous, it's if you make it alone, it's quiet. And driving through Connecticut, you're just in the dark. And if you're at night, so I was like, okay. Like, you know, I'll listen to it, I'll put on this album. It was made in the woods, and I'm driving through the woods. It's moody, I'm moody. I'll listen to it, I'll vibe out, because he gets it. He gets me. And, you know, so I put it on. I was just like, man, this dude's like recreating nature with nature, because he's playing acoustic instruments. God, I love it. Like, assault me, Bon Iver, it's fantastic. And then, so I realized a few minutes later, fuck, this is a long intro. And at which point I checked the thing, and I never turned the stereo on. I was listening to the wind against my windshield. And I thought it was Bon Iver for at least 5 to 10 minutes. But anyway, and well, we're all like kind of subgenres of rock up here, basically, tonight. I don't even know who comes up with like subgenre titles. Like my favorite, I was looking them up while I was totally preparing for this. And my favorite actually is, well, there's two favorites. There's a subgenre of punk called power violence, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, the only power violence band is right back there. And the top selling power violence band is called Sheep Squeeze, which is adorable, like adorable violence. And then my second favorite was called Sadcore, which was recognized by allmusic.com as music buying for the depressed. And I would have loved it tonight if Joan was in a power violence and sadcore band, because she'd put on her eyeliner for the power violence and then cry it all off for the sadcore. Anyway, enough music stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, it was New Year's recently. You were all there. I was there. Someone asked me, you know, it's the kind of person who asks you, like, how does it feel to be 27 if you turn 27? They said, what's your New Year's resolution? And I, you know, don't be a dick, among other ones, I said, you know, like, I don't want, you know, like, less alcohol, not, you know, maybe no alcohol in 2014. Not, yeah, thanks for my sister to say, are you fucking kidding me? But yeah, she was there, I sobered up and I completely realized there's no way I'm gonna let that go, especially not in a bar like this. Actually just got even back from AA, not because I have a problem, but does this one work?
Yes.
Fantastic.
No. Is this big?
Whatever.
Use them both!
Whatever. Use them both. Not gonna double fist this.
No.
So anyway, but yeah.
2014.
2014. The year to make a dick of yourself. But yeah, no, I just got back from AA, not because I have a problem, but because I thought it was a club for alcohol aficionados. And turns out it's a club for quitters, and Papa didn't raise no quitter, right? Cheers, anybody? You see this shit through the end, the bitter end. And you know, I don't know, if you have a drinking problem, that's great. You probably don't have a fun problem. And if you have a fun problem, get a drinking problem because they're a riot. Anywho, I was playing like a celebrity look-alike contest. Well, not contest. It was a group of friends, and we're like, you know, who would you look alike? We got around to me, and I was like, okay, so who would my celebrity look-alike be? Dick. And well, the general consensus wasn't Andy Samberg. It was actually nobody who looks like me could ever be famous. Don't groan at me. It's at my expense. Anyway, just, you know, on to porn and sex jokes, fine. Thank you, John Lovitz in the back, for the Jewish laughter. I once had sex with a girl, and I knew it was great because she pooped mid-coitus. And it would have been flattering if we weren't spooning. Just groan at me, please, groan at me.
Sorry.
But actually, shut the fuck up, sir. So New York, you know, it seems to have a history for, you know, cool sexual things. Like they had Plato's Retreat, which is a club you just go have sex with a bunch of people at. And I was like, you know, me too. You know, I'll try and indulge in this. So I've had a series of super hot onesomes lately. And I just had my first 2.5 some, and it's where two people have sex and they don't know you're there. If you didn't laugh, just look around when you have sex tonight, because I might be there. Porn names are kind of funny to me, though, because they've gotten, like, less creative. What is it? Like, no one's going to name their daughter Jenna Jameson at this point, because that's just a mean thing to do. But Tori Black? Some of you guys know who she is. And there's probably, Rebecca Black probably has a sister named Victoria, and she's probably got her whole life ruined. But it's funny when you look them up, because all of a sudden you get the first image is someone making something they regret. Second image is someone who, you know, has dealt with that regret over the last 2 years, and the third picture is just a 12-year-old playing soccer. And I was like, oh god, I got to make this work somehow. Like, but people actually, the guys have it worse, way worse. Because, you know, everyone thinks like, oh, okay, so a guy porn star has a monster cock, right? Which is my new favorite term, by the way. I just love to repeat to myself. When I was single, my OkCupid profile just said one, monster cock, and then my face. The gross thing, I think that was my sister that said woo. But anyway, but if you have the same name, if you share the name with a porn star, a male porn star, like, okay, so there's Ron Jeremy, who we all know, who has a great monster cock and sort of looks like a garbage man or like a falafel dealer. And somewhere in Alabama, there's a Ron Jeremy with a small penis who just is a garbage man or falafel dealer. And his whole dating history is people showing up to the bar going, I was on a date with Ron Jeremy. You're Ron Jeremy? God damn it. And just storming right out of the bar. And it'd be okay if he didn't have, like, unless he had a micro penis. So hold on, let me back up a second with the micro penis. So in science, right, there's like, you know, people name things after someone who has the disease, like Lou Gehrig's disease, or someone who found the disease, like Asperger's or Down's face, or whatever the fuck. And all the people with no conscience left. But you know, they name it after that, and there's two science terms that do not have a single author, and that's micropenis and buried penis. Buried penis is a real thing. It's underneath, you know, whatever, you got it. And, but I just love the idea that someone came down to, like, tell Wikipedia, like, hey, I found these two things, micropenis and buried penis. Like, oh, that's great, Jerry. Like, you want us to name it after you? No. Let's keep that up to anonymous. I don't need to be Jerry's micropenis all over the internet. Yeah, right? Jesus. But anyway, so I started balding technically a while ago, but really 3 years ago to me. No. This is not a hipster stylist approach. This is I'm balding. This is what this is. Fuck off. Anywho, so it was at the first, you know, you get to find out what kind of man you are. All the guys in here, if you ever go bald, like you're gonna find out how you deal with it. And usually the first step is Rogaine. And you show up at the thing, and you look at the back of it, and it usually says, well, I showed up, and I was like, okay, Rogan, let me check it out. And it says, hands and feet swelling, possible heart attack. I was like, I don't need to get my hair back or die. Like, that's not, it doesn't matter that much to me. And, but I heard a lot about Propecia, which is, a lot of people tell me, oh, go use that. And I went to a dermatologist for a second, and he was like, hey, you need this. And I was like, fuck you. And he checked it out, and he explained to me, and it was like, there's a 5% chance you grow boobs, and a 10% chance you just lose ability of your junk. That's just gone for the rest of your life. And I was thinking, like, man, that kind of turns science into like a bro guy at a sports bar, just like, dude, bro, what would you rather lose, your hair or your balls? He's like, fuck you, science, just look at the game, god damn it. Like, fuck you, science, just over and over again. And, but it's fucked up, because Propecia basically is like, hey, do you want to grow back your hair and have another shot at hitting on, like, the gender you like, or do you want to become the other gender? And it's like, But, for a while, too, people would ask me if I was growing a faux hawk, which is a balding style, which is push all the hair to the middle, and it looks, again, like a hipstery, like, oh, you're just trying too hard to be like, no, I have one hairstyle. And because the other basically is like Moses parting the sea, or like bat ears, and those do not go so well with the hairstyle. So I had that for a little while, and then I decided to just kind of shave it all off. Yeah, and now it looks like an ant cemetery. Like a bunch of ants raided my head and then just Windex everything, and I'm letting them sit there though. I'm letting them sit there for as long as they possibly can. It's either that or like a band flyer, like someone stapled a bunch of band flyers to the top of my head and just ripped the paper out, and now I have just a bunch of staples. This would be way funnier without the beanie. Thank